And it's Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio, wrapping up the Army-Navy game at 31-7 win by Navy. Navy wins the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. They beat Army after Army had won this historic game 3 years in a row. And so really for the Navy seniors, this was a big win to be able to say that they beat Army once in their career. And what a win it was. Malcolm Perry, a dominating performance. Really one of the performances that'll be remembered in Army-Navy football history for a long time. Navy rushing for 395 yards today. And a lot of that was Malcolm Perry. He had 304 yards rushing. Wow, what a performance. How many times have you heard a college football player get 304 yards? 55-yarder that play in the second quarter after Army had scored. Malcolm Perry goes 55 yards for a touchdown. And Jamil Carruthers at 75. So Army gives up 395 yards rushing to Navy, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Navy only passed once. The reverse option play at the end of the first half that Perry went to Chance Warren, the wide receiver, who then looked to the right corner of the end zone and connected with Jamil Carruthers. Very good touch pass. I mean, it was one of those plays, you're thrown over a defender and caught him just at the out-of-bounds line. In fact, some question, everything. They looked at the replay just to make sure that he was in. But that really set the tone for the game because Army knew they couldn't really get behind in this game. Just reviewing, Army got off to a good start. A 78-yard, 18-play drive culminated with a Christian Anderson 5-yard run. Christian Anderson, the quarterback junior from the Bronx, New York, Cardinal Hayes High School, called a service to start. Coach Munkin said in the postgame that Kelvin Hopkins had pulled a hamstring in the Hawaii game and did not practice at all up until Thursday of this week, 2 days ago, and really just couldn't play. Went in for the last series, gave up an interception, but it's unfortunate that a player, Kelvin Hopkins, is going to have just a magical junior season. Had a disappointing senior season, but what a junior year he had in 2018. That will be long remembered. Malcolm Perry, just a minute 26 into the second quarter, 55-yard run from scrimmage right down the right side. And then at the end of the Army did a good job with its punting game. Got two punts in a row down into the Navy 10-yard line. But Navy went the length of the field. It was a long Malcolm Perry run, and Jamil Carruthers scored on the 1-yard pass play from Chase Warren on the option reverse play with seconds left on the clock, 6 seconds. In the second half, Jamil Carruthers, a 5-yard run and 45-yard drive, and then a field goal. Previous field goal early in the third quarter was blocked by Elijah Riley. A great play. That kept the score at 14-7. And but Nichols got a field goal. That really was kind of the icing on the cake. 12:48 in, made it 24-7. And then late in the fourth quarter, Malcolm Perry, a 15-yard run, scores, and that made it 31-7. Looking at some of the individual performances, we said for Navy, Malcolm Perry, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamil Carruthers, 75 yards rushing, just 3.4 per carry, and Chance Warren, 1 pass catch. I mean, they won this game 30. They scored 31 points and only 1 pass play, but it was a touchdown pass. For Army, disappointing rushing day, 147 yards, not what we're expecting. Actually, 123 after losses on a couple of sacks to Christian Anderson. Anderson had 76 yards, Connor Slomka 21, Santa McCoy 23. Never really got the fullback game going. And Kel Walker, 13 yards. really struggled a couple plays. He was just getting crunched when they would run wide. And disappointing final game to Kel Walker's career. But what a career he did have in his first 3 years, and so many times this year had some big plays. Remember that play against Texas San Antonio that he scored on, and Kel Walker got in 13 yards. Passing, Christian Anderson 2 of 4, 18 yards, and sacked twice. And Cam Harrison had 2 catches for 18. Probably the best performance of the day was by Zach Harding, who punted 4 times for an average of 47 yards, really pinned Navy back. And Zach Potter had 1 punt in also that got into the 20. So that's it. Disappointing end of season, disappointing season. As Coach Munkin said, we talked a little bit about the Michigan game, that was really the day they seemed to have played their best. And it just, after that, it seemed like they just didn't have that extra gear they had the year before to win the close games. Just going over some of the big stats: rushing 395 for Navy, Army 123. Passing 1 yard for Navy, but that's all they needed to score a touchdown at the end of the first half. And Army 25 yards, really not much better. So 396 to 148. And Army had 1 fumble. And so I think they were a little bit, again, the offensive line, we talked with Coach Munkin every week about changes he had to make in players. I think it was 4 different players at the center position this year, and you're never fully effective, especially when you're an option offense, depending on your running game, when you have a lot of changes in your offensive line. Good news is that there was depth and some young players coming along for the future. So, and I just want to go through and just take a look at the defensive stats. Sometimes, we miss that. And what a career Cole Christensen had for Army. Just going over the stats today. Eric Smith, 12 tackles on the day, 4 solos, 8 assists. Elijah Patterson, Rika Patterson, 12 tackles today. Cole Christensen, 9 and a sack. Lowry had 9. Velez had 7. So it was just looking for Navy. Jarris Warren had 11 tackles for Navy. Kevin Brannon, 7. They're a very good linebacker. Diego Faget at 8. Springer, 7. And Jackson Pittman had 5 for Navy. And Navy's defensive line was really touted by Coach Munkin in the postgame. We'll have the video on that for you to watch. We'll have more over the next day or two, and then we'll start looking at next year. And also some of the other college bowl games. We'll be down at the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium and watch that matchup with Michigan State playing in that game, and some of the others. And we'll have some college basketball for you, a little hockey at Army. And so we're just the end of the season ends a little sooner. We've had 3 years in a row going to bowl games. Everybody kind of got used to that, including the media. But what a job the players have done over that span. But this year just turned out a little bit disappointing. But that happens. It's college football, and so it's start looking at next year. We always remember how much these players are accomplishing, and also, as Coach Munkin said, what they're going to do in the future, defending our country as Army officers. So many are going into infantry. Elijah Riley is going into armor. Cole Christensen, field artillery. And, it's just we see that time and time again. We hear from some of the Army players from a few years ago who have been overseas, places like Korea and Iraq and Afghanistan and all sorts of other places on the front lines defending us. And that's what really it's about, preparation for days when they're going to be leading American soldiers and providing leadership in the U.S. military. And then beyond, many go on to business and government careers. So many West Point graduates in the administration today, as we know. So let's wrap it up. I want to thank my partner, Rich Robitaille, who did a lot of great work on the sidelines and was in the Navy post game. I can't wait to hear a little bit more about that one. But we'll have that video up. We may have it up tomorrow, so we can get home a little bit earlier. But anyway, I want to thank everybody, thank our sponsors, especially the Westchester Bank. They've been with us for 3 years. John Tolman and the team there, they've been so supportive of us. And our local sponsors, the White Plains Bake Shop, Lee Kaufman, and Tommy at Getty Auto gets us ready. Got me new tires this week, so we could travel again. And then Richard Davidson at Westchester Chiropractic and Wellness down in Harrison. As we say, he takes care of some top professional athletes, and then the rest of us with our aches and pains. He's a great guy. And also I'd like to thank the New York Yankees. They've been a sponsor with us for 2 years, and we really appreciate the opportunities to work with them and cover their Military Appreciation Day. They talk about the work they do for the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, and the invitations they give to West Point cadets to go to their games, present colors, present large flags on opening day and some of their big days. And then we go back to the American Legion, the 2 million members. We thank them for the chance to represent them here on big stages and at West Point and so many other things we do. And the auxiliary and the 350,000 members of the Sons of the American Legion. Thank some of our team. Joe Artino helped us through the season. John Turan's been with us, and also Jack McGurk back. Does a great job with our show. Listen to us every Monday at 2:30 on WVOX 1460 AM as we tell a story of veterans and the U.S. military. So for Richard Robitaille, this is Ken Kraetzer wrapping up at the Army-Navy game in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field for Sons of the American Legion Radio. Thank you very much. Have happy holidays, and we'll talk to you again soon.